Okay, so I want to talk about comparison and why I figured out why. Well, it's not really me figuring out, but discussing why, the realization of why comparison is a thief of joy. Okay, so the first one is, and this is about, it's covetousness and comparison. Okay, and so I have 2 Corinthians 10:12. For we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they measuring themselves by themselves are not wise. It's talking about how not only is comparison a thief of joy, but comparing yourself among men is a foolish thing to do. Um, because we all have different gifts, we all have different callings, we all have different abilities. We all have different personalities and perspectives and lived experiences. It's almost like the different members. So the Bible talks about every member has its own function. So it makes no sense for the foot to look at the hand and be envious of what the hand can do when you're the main thing that balances the body. It makes no sense for the hand to look at the foot and covet what the foot can do when you're the main thing that helps the body complete task, or however you want to look at it. Like, it's pointless to look at someone else, compare yourself, and regardless of what the justification is, and desire what they have. In Galatians 6:4-5, but let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Not only do we all have our own gifts, our own talents, our own abilities, our own lived experiences, we have our own tests, we have our own trials, we have our own obstacles that we all each have to overcome. And what we bear, what we have inside of us, is more than likely, or it's the key to help us overcome our obstacles, our temptations, our tests, our trials. So the foot desiring to be the hand is not going to help you walk. You can't have two sets of hands. You're not going to be able to walk right. It makes no sense for the hand to turn into feet because they want it to be feet so bad. And now you have no way of doing daily functions. You can't eat, you can't drink, you can't use your phone because you have two sets of feet. Like, it makes no sense to want to be something you're not. It makes no sense to compare you and your individuality, your functioning, with someone else. They have what they have for a reason, just like you have what you have for a reason. And then Galatians 5:26, it says, let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. One of the things that I have experienced in a lot of situations is people, when they don't have the wisdom to know that who they are, their abilities, their trials, their the things that they've experienced in life, their experiences, their perspective, when they don't have the wisdom and the realization to know that those experiences they had were for a reason, when they haven't developed the realization that the gifts that they have them for a reason, the level of knowledge in whatever specific area they have more knowledge in is there for a specific reason, when the hand doesn't understand the gift of the functions that it has on its own, when the feet don't understand the gift and the function that they have on their own, they tend to, like, I'm using it as an example, but people, when they don't realize the gift that they have and the function that it has on its own, they tend to be envious, and they tend to be aggressive when they feel like your grass is greener than mine, or you have something I don't have, or what you have is better than what I have. It tends to bring something out of people when they don't have the knowledge, the wisdom of the realization that what they have is all they need to excel in life. That brings back to my remembrance of also James chapter 4. It talks about where do fights and wars come from among you. It comes from your desires, your lustful desires, which means you just have a desire for something in your flesh, in your body, in your members. And it says, so you war with others, you fight with others to take it from them, but you have not because you ask not. But when you do ask, you ask hoping that you have it for your own pleasures. So a lot of times, even when people look at the things someone else has in comparison to them and they desire it, they want it for the wrong reasons. But the goal of this was just to remind people of the dangers of comparison and how comparing yourself can have you tricking yourself out of your own spot, where you could have excelled in a specific area because of if you had the wisdom to know how to use what you had in a meaningful way. It could have propelled you to it. It could have put you in a position to make your dreams come true, to give you the opportunities you were looking for, to help you meet the right people, to position you at the right place at the right time. But if you don't have that realization, if you don't operate from a place of wisdom, acknowledging the gifts, the talent, the calling, the knowledge, the experience that you have as an asset, you can trick yourself out of your spot. You can essentially, it's like you will desire to be something that you're not. You'll perform in another area where you are not going to excel. And so it's important to embrace who you are, embrace everything that you have. Take inventory of your gifts, your calling, your dreams, the things that you're fascinated about, the level of knowledge that you may have on a specific subject. You have that curiosity for that area for a reason. Like, even the experiences that you have, even the inconveniences through some of your lived experiences, you experience that for a reason. Use it for the betterment of yourself and for others around you that you may be connected to or that you will come in contact with. So that is why comparisons steal for joy. It literally will take you from who you're always supposed to be. It'll take you out of being in a position to excel and to have a certain level of success, and trick you out of your spot, essentially. So don't compare yourself, and remember, everything you have is all you need.